Today, we're going to be talking about whether there's going to be a potential for a 45 cents XRP. We'll be taking a look at the technical analysis. We'll be taking a look at XRP on the smaller timeframes, like the 1 hour timeframe that you see here with the most recent movements, taking a look at XRP on the daily timeframe, considering whether or not we are in some kind of bullish trap. We'll be taking a look at total market cap 3, and what is going on with everything kind of XRP's price action. So as I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Okay guys, we're going to probably kick things off by taking a look at the total market cap of all crypto. Okay, it has seen some really interesting movements, and there's some ground for concern in here if we apply some interesting kind of concepts to it. So, and the point of recording today's video, we are hovering at $2.374 trillion. Okay, we can see here that the previous all-time high was at 3.011. Okay, so although Bitcoin's gone up into new all-time highs, the total market cap for all cryptocurrency assets has not yet gone up into a new all-time high. And I find that quite interesting because we obviously know that Bitcoin has moved quite aggressively to new all-time highs. It almost got there most recently just a couple of days ago as well, yet we don't see the entire crypto market ballooning up. And I think there's a lot to do with the fact that there isn't really a lot of new people coming into crypto. We talk about this all the time, and total market cap is kind of showing us that kind of concept. Now, when we take a look at Total 3, now Total 3, guys, is basically the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum. And here you can see that we are trending to the downside. And I use the word trending very loosely. We'll just put a trend line in to help show you what that looks like, just for kind of the graphical purposes of today's video. But for the most part, we can see that we haven't really seen any altcoin action, right? And XRP falls into this category. So we can see here that on the 29th of October, we did actually push up a little bit, and then we started to pull on down. Now, if I take this to a daily time frame, and we kind of pull that into kind of consideration here, you can kind of see how this was in March of 2024. And if I zoom out even further, you can see up here the previous bullish market. So we have had a very interesting kind of time. Since March down to the lows of August, we had a lot of market cap getting lost from those altcoins. And this most recent rally that we've seen with Bitcoin dragging a few of the altcoins a little bit higher hasn't been overly that impressive. And we can continue to see more volatility, in my opinion, in the coming days, which brings us over to XRP and whether or not XRP is likely to see a 45-cent target. Now, as you guys have been hopefully monitoring the XRP charts for quite some time with me, you'll know that we have been monitoring the idea of a lower range, kind of area of previous demand. Okay, and we can kind of bring in this little yellow box area right here and pull it across. You can see that for a while this area has been a huge demand area for XRP. Okay, basically what we're talking about here is 38.23 to 47.88. Okay, and that's the lower side, but at the same time as having the lower range, we've had a higher range as well, and you can kind of see that right inside here. Let me go ahead and snap this in so you guys can see, and I'll draw this yellow box across this higher range. You can see that the higher range is 67.2 to 75 cents, and we've basically just been bouncing from the low side to the high side on the daily time frame. This is a massive accumulative area. This is what is known as a continuation pattern, and this in itself has me concerned. But before we get into that, we are going to take a look at the 1 hour time frame, because on the 1 hour time frame we did obviously have a bit of a push to the upside over the last few days. Okay, so we had a washout to the downside around 48.6, and we started to rally on up. We did actually cross higher than my initial thoughts, but not into that higher range of expectations just yet. Okay, so in the previous video, we were talking about going short, and if we couldn't hold these areas, then we wanted to go long. Obviously, we've pushed it down quite aggressively, and it does to me look like there's still the potential for 53 to 54 cents before we kind of get into any major corrections to the downside. The previous area, though, of interest for me does come in a little bit lower than that, which is 53.28 to 53.38. This is the previous wick high areas where there was a lot of resistance coming in. So for the most part, very, very interesting stuff. Now, this most recent move to the downside is showing us with a very corrective pattern. This corrective pattern is what we'd call a triple zigzag pattern, W, X, Y, X, and Z, and is looking to complete out. Momentum wise, we are looking oversold on the 1 and 4 hour time frames, so it's looking pretty good from that point of view. The relative strength index is corrected down quite nicely, so it is bearish momentum. Still room for the downside. I don't think we're necessarily finished just yet. This is indicated here on the relative strength index, but also on the stochastic RSI down here as well. So everything is kind of telling us there's still a little bit more room to the downside, but we're going to get close to reversals. Now, if we take a look at the histogram from the MACD perspective, here we can see some bearish, actually some bullish divergences going on. Okay, so although the price action is moving down in a bearish way, we can have lower lows going on here. Whilst we have lower lows occurring, what do we see from our histogram? Our histogram is actually setting higher lows. And that is actually a bullish signal because that tells us that there isn't a lot of momentum to continue this push to the downside. Although price is continuing to come down and tap into these lower ranges, it is not going to be sustainable, and therefore we will be looking for a run to the upside. Now, all of this is kind of like a precursor to the thumbnail and the title of today's video, which was, is this a bull trap? And obviously the thumbnail signaling kind of 45-cent potentials. So on the 1 hour time frame, we are actually going to be thinking about long positions before we start thinking about essentially going short on the market. But I do think there's still potential for 45 cents in line with all the other expectations that we have hit. The 66-cent areas, the 48-cent areas, the rallies, the relief rallies that we are seeing right now. And obviously that's a precursor to potentially 45 cents. Now, taking a look at our structures here, this is mirroring that of a W, X, Y, X, and Z structure again. So we are looking for a final kind of hurrah to the upside. That can be quite aggressive. It can be pretty decent. So we'll give you an idea as to kind of what that looks like here on the charts. Let me go ahead and pull this over to our current swing lows. I think I'm going to put that down at around 51.55, and just because I do expect us to move down a little bit more. And this is going to be a bit broader of a targeted range. I don't think we'll go as high as 55.43, but it's something that we need to kind of acknowledge as a possibility. And on the low side, 53.08, which of course we've mentioned before. This area in the middle though, at 53.62 to 54.36, is a very interesting area that I think is probably the most probable scenario for us. I'm going to go ahead and remove that yellow box because it is a bit too crowded here. So what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for a long position on the 1 hour time frame before we kind of think about the short positions on the daily chart. Okay, and so when we take a look at our structure, we can be kind of predictive over where we think things are going to be going. And again, we are looking, from my opinion anyway, around 51.49, and we have already met minimum expectations, but I still see this one slipping a little bit further. So we'll be looking for this area anywhere in this range is going to be a good place for a long position, in my opinion. I think we'll be on the lower side, and taking a look at previous areas of resistance come support, we'll go ahead and use this as a guide. We'll be looking for around 51.68. So for me, my opinion, my thoughts and how I would look at this, I would be looking for a long position on XRP. I'll be looking for an entry at 51.68. Plus, I want this to be reasonably wide, but not terribly too wide that it's going to be a problem. I'm going to put this lower than the previous swing low that we had over here at 1500 hours on the 26th of October. That's UTC. And then we're going to target out that slightly higher range, or 1.5 on the risk-reward ratio. 1.5 puts us right here on this previous area of resistance, coming in at 53.39, a good place to be. And if we target out that slightly higher range, we're talking about 1.7 on the risk-reward ratio. For me, I'll go for 1.5 because I like to be a little bit less risky on the long positions and the short positions and kind of leverage-based trading. So that would be my approach here. I think we have the ability to think about long positions for XRP's price action, targeting up previous areas of resistance, and then from there we can talk about, the 45 cents and the potential that this corrective pattern that we're monitoring on the 1 hour time frame is actually a bull trap. That brings me up to our daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, and actually, before we get into the daily time frame, we should probably talk about Blowfin and some of the trading stuff that they're doing. Talking about trading, we have an incredible deal for you guys today. How does a 10% cash back bonus up to 2,000 USDT sound? That's right, Blowfin is offering an incredible promotion, but it's only available to the first 100 users, so you'll need to act fast. Blowfin is a top cryptocurrency exchange and is giving new users a fantastic opportunity. When you sign up using the special link in the description, you will get a 10% cashback bonus up to 2,000 USDT in futures bonus. And the best part, it's first come, first server basis. So the first 100 users to sign up will be the ones to claim this fantastic bonus. Here's how you can jump in. Step 1, click the special link in the description down below to sign up to 𝗕𝗀. Step 2, once you're in, start trading on the futures. Step 3, you'll automatically get a 10% cashback bonus in futures, up to 2,000 USDT if you're one of the first 100 users to sign up. So what are you waiting for? This is a limited time and only for the first 100 users to get this incredible deal. Click the link in the description down below, sign up to 𝗕𝗀 and secure your 10% cashback up to 2,000 USDT before it's gone. Don't miss out on this amazing offer from 𝗕𝗀. Remember, it's first come, first serve, so hit that link and start trading and depositing on 𝗕𝗀 today. Good luck and happy trading. Okay, so check it out, linked in the description down below. They are a fantastic platform in my humble opinion. So let's take a look at our daily chart, right? What do we see here? Well, we can see that we're still in this narrowing kind of continuation pattern, which is what I was kind of trying to allude to right here. This is known as a continuation pattern, okay? So basically we have the low sides down here. Yeah, sure, we're bouncing around a little bit. We've got a few additional lows and all that kind of stuff. And on the higher side, we also see very similar stuff going on with all of this. This is a continuation pattern. And what we mean by a continuation pattern is you're in a ranging market. Now you can argue that maybe there's some kind of pattern in here that we can kind of monitor and all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, we'll try to keep it as really simple as possible. Continuation patterns are just that. They continue whatever led into them. And the problem that we have with XRP, if we are to see this continuation pattern come to an end, is that we will be looking for a break to the downside. The reason for that is that there was a move down before we got into the continuation pattern, which is a ranging market. Then from there, we look for one more move to the downside. Okay, so we can finish off our structure and it would look something to this effect. It's kind of quite obvious when you kind of look at it like this. But nonetheless, you know, like everything, there's a chance that maybe things will break out, sentiment changes and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's really what is going on here. Now, from our daily chart here, we can be kind of quite predictive over where this could potentially go. And I want to use the word could. Minimum expectations have already been met. Okay, if we do go ahead and put this onto the 75-cent high, okay, we could see this target range right down here, which I've already really marked on the chart for the obvious reasons that this continuation pattern has the chance to breaking down into, which is between 27.99, we might as well call it 28 cent, and 33.79 cents. Okay, so we'll call it 28 to 34 cents for simplicity. This becomes a three-wave corrective pattern and a corrective breakdown. Okay, we'll look at this across a very long period of time from July 2023 down to the kind of existing lows that we have. And there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. I would say that we are actually going to be looking at it from this perspective, right in here with a irregular flat correction coming in here and then a further break to the downside over this side. Okay, now that basically means that we are looking for a break of the 45-cent level. Now I'm going to use 45 cents as my minimum expectation because just because there's this continuation pattern forming here, it can also be read differently. Okay, so this is the bearish version of it and there's a bullish version of this continuation pattern as well. Okay, if you take a look here, what do we see? Well, we could see that the minimum expectations on a correction have been met. We'll just use WXY for the purpose of today's video. Now here you can see we had a move to the upside during this period, right? So we have a move to 93.8 cents. Okay, we then have a corrective and ranging market going sideways, and then the bullish sentiment is that we actually get a break to the upside. Okay, so it can be read in both directions, and I think 45 cents is kind of going to be an interesting area to see if it can hold. If 45 cents can hold, then maybe XRP is in the bullish path. If 45 cents cannot hold, then unfortunately we might be looking more bearishly, more towards 33 or 28 to 34 cents. Okay, so let's bring up my other chart here and we can kind of monitor what's going on. So obviously on the daily chart, we are, of course, still in that short, although I was kind of skeptical about staying in it. In the last video, I said, actually, this is actually looking a little bit more interesting. We might want to now actually hold the short. Obviously, stop loss at entry or in profit, and whatever happens, happens. Possible that we rally up, of course, but momentum on the daily chart is not giving us as much bullish vibes as maybe a lot of people are hoping for. Here you can see momentum's rapidly moved towards overbought area on the stochastic, right? And that is not a good sign. You want a slow moving stochastic, not a fast moving stochastic. Now, if we take that off and bring in the relative strength index, you can still see that we're in bearish territory. We haven't broken above the 50 level, indicating that momentum is bearish, not bullish. Now we turn that off and bring in the histograms. And like I've been saying for a while here, you can see that this with lower highs and the idea of higher lows coming in here is showing us weakness and both bullish vibes at the same time, right? This is gearing up for a very, very big move. You can see right inside here how this bullish momentum is diminishing as we kind of have this ranging market, but so is the bearish momentum. It is also diminishing. Okay, so as we kind of have these pushes to the downside, including that most recent one over here between the October lows and the beginning of October lows and the late October lows, we can see that there was actually bullish divergence occurring, right? But on the macro scale here, you can see that XRP's price action is gearing up for a big move. Now, which direction that's going to go is kind of quite a bit of a guess. I think it's too soon to really tell. So we want to be very mindful. 45 cents is going to be a pivotal time for XRP. And one of the reasons for that is this is a previous area that we have seen basically no real strong close positions in it. Every time we've come down, we've bounced out quite a lot and quite significantly. That is an indication that this 45-cent level is a significant buying block. And a buying block like that could basically take the price out of the range. So we want to be quite aware that when we come down to 45 cents, if we start seeing a significant and continuous bearish close position inside and lower than the 45-cent level, then we are more than likely going to unfortunately see a break of 40 cent, which is potentially going to take us down to those lower targets. But all in all, it's not that bad. So this could well be, this most recent run that we've seen to the upside could well be a bit of a bullish trap for what is potentially going to be a fantastic accumulative phase once again for XRP. One of the things that I'm pretty confident on, though, is that we are kind of coming towards the end of this continuation pattern. This continuation pattern is going to break one way or the other, and it is going to be a very exciting time for all XRP holders during that moment. For me, I do think that there's going to be a bullish break to the upside in the coming weeks. That might be, late November, it might be late December. I can't time the market, but there is something brewing here. And if we do see a breakdown in the kind of shorter time frames, well, that's an opportunity that I personally would be looking to take advantage of. But of course, this is just my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I see it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, or join us in our free Discord server linked in the description. And guys, if you haven't done so already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check that video out right there because it's not one that you should miss.